Mark Williams was a New York resident and a talented architect. His life was going on as usual. He used to spend most of the day in work, and ND read his favorite books in the evening. Mark has always been interested in old buildings and mysterious places. He often took time out to visit rural areas where history and mystery were intertwined. One day, Mark finds out about a deserted and mysterious mansion near a small town. This place was known as the Valley of Fear. Locals said that a century ago, a rich family lived in this mansion, which died mysteriously as a result of a terrible accident. Since then, the place was deserted. Rumors were circulating in the town that there were strange noises, lights, and shadows appearing, and sometimes the sounds of someone screaming are heard. Mark listened to these stories with interest and decided to check out the place. He was sure that there must be some logical reason behind the mystery there. He was an experimental adventurer, and it was his passion to explore such places. Mark packed his camera, flashlight, and notebook and left the next morning. Mark started his journey early in the morning. He had to pass through dense forests to reach the Valley of Fear. There was silence everywhere in the forest, and a strange chill was felt in the air. Mark left his jeep at the edge of the forest and started walking towards the mansion. As he approached the mansion, the sun was setting. The mansion was situated at the foot of a high mountain and was surrounded by dense forest. Its walls were dilapidated and the bricks were falling from places. The windows were broken, and it was dark inside. Mark started taking pictures with his camera as soon as he saw the mansion. Mark felt a strange, cold breeze as he stepped inside the mansion. He lit the flashlight and began to look around. Ancient prints were made on the walls, and strange writings were written in some places which were difficult to read. There was a thick layer of dust on the floor, but there were some old footprints, as if someone had been here recently. Mark started writing all the details in the notebook. As he approached an old closet, a door suddenly slammed shut. Mark was startled and looked back, but no one was there. Oh! Then he heard footsteps from upstairs. He hesitated, but then plucked up the courage and headed for the stairs. The stairs were old and creaky. Every step sounded like someone was watching him. Reaching the top floor, Mark faced a long and dark corridor. There were several rooms on either side of it, but all had closed doors. Mark tried to open the doors one by one. When he entered a room, he found an old picture on the wall. The picture showed a prosperous family, but the edges of the picture were burnt, and there was a strange haze over the faces. Mark took a closer look at the photo and saw a name written on it: Emily. Suddenly, the light in the room dimmed, and it got colder. Mark quickly put the picture in his notebook and left the room. Mark entered a large library room at the other end of the corridor. There were shelves of old books, but most of the books were in disrepair. One book in particular stood out. It was lying open on the table as if someone was reading it. Mark picked up the book and examined it. The book was written in an ancient language that he did not understand. Suddenly, the pages of the book started turning automatically and stopped at one page. On this page was written a sentence in English: "Whoever comes here will become part of our secret." Mark's hands began to shake. He closed the book and tried to leave quickly, but as he headed for the door, it closed automatically. Mark tried with all his might to open the door, but it wouldn't open. Suddenly, he felt the touch of someone's hand on his back. He looked back, but no one was there. Second, there were strange whispers in the room, as if several people were talking at once. Mark felt like the prints on the walls were moving. Once again, Mark opened the door with all his might and ran downstairs. While leaving the gate of the mansion, he felt as if someone tried to grab him from behind, but somehow he ended up in the forest. Mark reached the town and told his story to the people, but most people ignored his words. Some said that he had become a victim of the mansion's spirits and would never be free from its influence. Mark himself began to feel that something was wrong with him. That night when Mark slept, he dreamed of the same mansion again. He felt as if he was still in the mansion and someone was calling him. These dreams continued for several days, and Mark's mental state began to deteriorate. Mark put his notebook, photos, and book in a safe place and decided he would never go to such a place again, but his peace was gone forever. Even after Mark's passing, people who look at his notebooks and photos are said to experience strange dreams and accidents. The Valley of Fear is just as desolate today, and no one dares to go there. This story teaches us that some secrets are better left hidden. It is not necessary to know the answer to every question, and some things are beyond human understanding.